What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Feel it? Hey, this is my jam. So everybody's out there who puts in work. I'm trying to pull my partners out. This is to all the grinders, the people who do what they do. Been grinding. I've been on the grind every single day. Gotta do what you gotta do to get where you're trying to go to. Man, love this song. Toby Nigwe, that's his name. Yo, guys, listen, I love this dude, man. He just keeps it super real. But, you know, I'm definitely going to go in today. I think tonight, I put the good word. I read it. I wanted to make sure it was good, but I put it down. We're going to keep it 100. We're going to talk real. And I'm just going to come at some people today, and not specifically, I'm not naming anyone, but a group of people, because I believe this is one of the big reasons a lot of rich kids fail at their marriages. A lot of rich kids have a problem with their marriages because of this problem. But before I address this problem, man, I want to say big shout out to everyone who has been with me on Media this Facebook Live. For those of you guys who are watching live, if you don't know me, my name is Salem Soni. I'm coming to you all the way out of Orlando, Florida in the United States. We've had people who are watching these Facebook Lives from all across the world. We've had people who are watching from Belgium, people who are watching from France, people who are watching from the United Kingdom, people who are watching from South Africa, people who are watching from the Congo, people who are watching from France. And here also in the States, all over the place, we've had from South Carolina to Pennsylvania, from Florida all the way to California. People are being part of a lot of the things we're addressing. Nobody's special. I just happen to have a phone and the ability to share what I think God has put in my heart. You can do the same. I encourage you to go out there and share whatever gift that God has put in you and bless the people. Listen, Facebook Live is a great thing. I love interacting. So let me know where you're coming from. If you're any place that I listed or I haven't listed, let me know, right? Let me know where you're watching from, whether you're watching from Belgium, you're watching from the States, you're watching from the UK. Let me know in the comment section. I'll give you a shout out. And again, thank you to everybody who's connected. Man, I love you guys, man. I think God is something special for this group. And I just want to say, let you guys know that I'm thankful. For those of you guys who are watching, for those of you guys who connect, it gives me encouragement to continue with this series, to rejuvenate and to continue with my challenge, because I challenge myself that I will continuously give positive content and useful content as much as God has deposited in me, put it out there, because I don't want to be obese. What does that mean? Obese means that I'm taking more than I'm putting out there into the world. So as God is depositing some stuff in me, I was like, okay, I definitely want to give it out to the rest of the world as well. Again, big shout out. Thank you to everyone who's signing right now. Taylor from Maryland. Maryland in the building. What's good? It's good to see you, girl. It's been a while. So we have Maryland in the building. So let me know where you're from. Well, you know where you're coming from. Well, I'll love to know also where you're watching from. It's amazing to see the variety of people who are getting connected. So Taylor out in Maryland. Maryland is, I should be close to Maryland by the end of the week. I'm gonna be back in Pennsylvania. We have a big event that's happening there. So with no further ado, as you guys are listening, as you guys are writing, right? So write in the comment where you're watching from. Emily out in Pennsylvania. It's good to see you, girl. That's my home girl, man. We've been since high school that we know each other. God bless you, girl. And so it's been a while. But listen, I'm gonna jump in, right? So you guys saw the title. I'm being very provocative because I really want to address an issue, and I think many people they know it's a problem, but many people don't necessarily address it, especially in our series as we're talking about relationship. What do I believe about relationship? When I talk about the series on relationship, I'm talking about the stage when one is basically going from being single to being with someone. So you're going from being by yourself to being united with someone. So that whether that means in a romantic or friendship type relationship, when you're moving basically from being with your parents to being united with another person. And I personally believe that someone has to be independent and being connected with another person who's independent so they can both become interdependent. The worst thing that can happen in a relationship is when you have someone who's independent get connected with someone who's dependent. and now you have a depending relationship, and that always ends up hurting one person in the relationship. But man, I'm super excited. So I've noticed from talking to people, from looking at marriages, looking at statistics, shoot, look at TV nowadays, you realize a lot of rich kids have bad marriages, man. Like I was listening to the story the other day, and I was watching on TV, this, person that came from affluence was on their fourth marriage. I was like, your fourth marriage, man? Dude, after the third one, you're like, man, something's wrong. But, the third and the fourth, so something is not quite working there. That it can't always be the wives who are, this individual was a guy, but I was like, it can't always be the wives that's the problem, you know what I mean? Somebody's not doing something right, it could be you, right? There's also times where it was the wife, and you're like, man, what's going on? So why is one of the source? And I believe many of the source, and especially in this context, right, I'm speaking to a specific select group, but I think it can apply to all of you guys watching. Whether you consider yourself rich or not, I think many people fall in this, but more of them are vulnerable, those who come from affluent families, right? So let me repeat that. What I'm going to talk, I think, applies to a variety of people, but those who are more prone to this type of issue, sometimes and directly, are those who come from affluent, prominent families. So those are called rich kids. So a lot of rich kids, the reason why their marriages are bad is because of money. But I'm not even going to say because of their money, because of their parents' money. But before you jump off and be like, see, Salem is going on this whole, like, he's against money, he's against having money. No, trust me, I'm all for money. Money helps you acquire and do a lot of things. And I told you guys on the Facebook Live yesterday that money just exposes what you are. If you're a great person, your money will be able to make you expose the goodness and the kindness, the type of individual you are. If you already are a jerk, when you become rich, you just become a rich jerk. It doesn't change you, right? So I'm all for money. I'm not coming against money. I'm coming actually against workaholism. What is that workaholism? Nowadays, a lot of people talk about it, and I played the music at the beginning, it's called about I've been grinding. And you guys maybe have heard this term, being on your grind, doing what you have to do, go to work, do what you got to do, constantly working. I believe in work, by the way. I believe the Bible says the one who doesn't work should not eat. It's in the Bible. So what that means is, to some degree, there has to be a responsibility on our part to do what we have to do to get what we need to get. Althea, good to see you. Alexi, all the way from Canada, it's good to see you guys. Erica, man, I love seeing all of you guys. So definitely there has to be a portion of work, right? By the way, guys, if you're just joining in, let us know where you're coming from, where you're watching from, your state, your city. I'll love to, so everybody can see, but it's good to see all of you guys. But listen, so work is super important. Where you're working is super vital because it determines the type of future you can create for yourself, or the type of legacy you can leave for the children behind you. But the problem that happens, especially now today, and especially, I live in the US, right? So the reality is even more so here. And not only am I someone who lived in the US, I've been to many places. I just came back from France. I was in Belgium. I've been to Africa. I've seen different type of cultures. I've seen different type of ways of doing life. And that being said, America seems such a stressful society. Like everybody is stressed about something. Everybody's stressed about, what about doing this? What about this? What about the bills over here? What about the debt I have to pay? What about the student loans? What about the mortgage on the house? Everybody is so worried about that. And then there's this other part that's like, they're so worried about the debt that they have on this side. They're running on this side to acquire as much money as you can. Get as much as you can, get as much as you can, right? That's a whole capitalistic idea that we have today. Get as much as you can, get as much as you can now, because you don't know about tomorrow. The problem that happens with that is now you're trying to build a family. You're trying to build a family with the mindset of you getting as much money as you can, going to work. The problem is you work so hard that you happen to forget about your family. So now you have kids who are love deprived. What does that love deprived? Love deprived mean that, yes, you bring the money, you provide for their cars, you provide for their shoes, you provide for all the necessities, their clothes, there's a roof over their house. But the problem that happens is now they're lacking love. They're not loved. You don't hug your kids. You don't show affections to them because you're so busy out there trying to get the money. And I know some of you guys, I might be stepping on your toes, and I'm doing that on purpose because I want to wake some of you guys to realize, listen, I get it. You have to provide, you have to do what you got to do. Yeah, it's cool. But what happens now is that it may not have that result in your life, right? Because you have a successful marriage, right? Everything is a success to you. But that what happens is that now your child, your daughter, or your son, because that person has never really felt what it means to be loved, is now that person is looking for that love everywhere else they can find it. On the street, to their friends over here. So that's why they live these like love deprived lives. You know, you see people all the time, you don't understand what is going on, but it just doesn't know what it means to be loved because he's never been hugged. I mean, I've seen guys, and I'm gonna be real honest with you. And I come from an African home, and African dynamic, I'm gonna make a video about this. It's gonna be on YouTube. I'm gonna drop it on YouTube. Go to my YouTube, Salem Soni on YouTube. But I'm gonna drop a video on I believe, especially when it comes to manhood, a lot of guys don't show as much affection to their son as they should. And I think it's one of the big problems. The reason why I'm saying that is because now today, because of this macho attitude of like, yeah, I'm a man, you just got to know that I love you, but you never, of your actions are making him doubt whether you love him, right? You're too stern on your son, but you never uplift him, or you're trying to baby too much of your son that you don't actually challenge him. So now the problem is he doesn't understand quite what that means. That means to have loved or to be loved. So now he goes to the university and he finds this dude that might be in the wrong crowds, but to show him the kind of love, the kind of tough love, or he finds this girl that finally he can feel being hugged, he can feel being cuddled, he can feel being shown some affection. And he's like, well, I never really knew this before. And then this person falls for this person. That person might not even be the right person for them, but because the person shows the type of love that he's always been, or she's always been seeking for, this individual, this child, this young adult, this teenager ends up making the wrong decision. Why? Due to the fact that the parent was so busy trying to get that money. So this is the reality, right? Parents, be balanced, right? I'm all about you. Don't let anybody outwork you at your craft. Let me say that again. Don't let anybody outwork you at your craft. I believe God has given each one of us a gift, a specific thing that the world will be lacking without our existence. God has created you so specifically. Sorry about that. It was a little bug there. But God has created you so specifically that the world will be lacking something without your existence. That's your area. That's your area of expertise. That's the thing that makes you you. That's the thing that makes you tick, right? But at that thing, at that area, man, be the best that you got to do. Do what you got to do. Grind, work, but be balanced. So don't grind so much here that you don't take care of your son. Don't grind so much there that you forget about your daughter. You forget about the people who look up to you. Because what's the point to bring all your money, but by the time you're old, your son doesn't know you. Your daughter forgets about you. You know what I mean? Because dad went over there, went and worked to put food on the table, but he never put love in my heart. Yeah, mom, you know, she's tough. Listen, you could be a single mom. I respect that. I know it's difficult. And I don't want to say that I understand the situation where you are because I've never been put in that situation. But I also want to just implore to you, understand the balance of the two. You don't want to have a child who is appreciative of the work you've done, but is not completely understanding that you were not there. You didn't really put the love that he needed in his heart. Right? Or if you can, place him in an environment that can be able to foster that love that maybe you cannot provide. I see all the time, you know, and this is not me. That's why I'm trying to do as much as I can to free myself financially when I'm young so I can be able to spend time with my children. You know what's crazy? Think about this. And if you don't believe me, just think about this. What are some of your best memories of your family? Right? If the best memory of your family have actually most of the time nothing to do with money. Nobody says, yo, you don't remember the one time when, you know, my dad came and he had made like, you know, a bonus of like $50,000, brought the check home. Man, it was a great day. No one says that. Everybody says, remember that one time we went to the beach? Oh, listen, like, you know, Debbie tripped on the water. It was crazy. Grandma came. Everybody remembers story. that can touch them psychologically and emotionally, that has nothing to do with money, because your presence is more valuable than the check you can bring home, right? So the reason why a lot of children today, especially a lot of kids who come from affluence, right, rich kids, the reason why their marriage fails because they've never really felt or understood or actually experienced genuine love while they were still children, that now is having a snowball effect in their own marriages, and they end up also becoming parents who all they know is trying to get that money, grind, and work. The problem with that is eventually we're going to have a society of people who are super disconnected, and the most connected society that ever exists. Think about that. Most of you guys have a big list of Facebook friends. How many of them are actually your friends? How many of them can you actually pick up on the call and they will recognize your voice? How many of them will actually say, you know what, I understand what you're talking about. Ellie, it's good to see you, girl. You know, there has to come a point when, as a mother, and some of you guys are not mothers, but the reason why I say this can apply to you, because I want you to be now conscious of the fact that, listen, well, this, am I love deprived? Like, because some of you guys, you have to have a self-check, right? For example, I grew up with both of my parents at home, right? But I also, for a long time, you know, I'm gonna open up here for you guys so you understand the reality. My parents are both ministers. They both do the gospel. And for a long time, we had a large ministry back in the Congo. I'm originally from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. That is in the heart of Africa. So if you listen, you hear a slight accent in my voice, is because, listen, English is not even my second language nor my third language. So I've learned many other languages, and I speak many other languages beside English. So coming from Africa, growing up over there, my parents have been in ministry. I've known church like ever since I was a kid, man. Listen, I think my times in college, I've missed probably more days of church than my whole life combined, right? So it doesn't mean that I wasn't going to church during school. It's just that numerically, I think I've missed like maybe 3-4 Sundays, right? So that gives you an idea. Born in church, all I know is church. When I was in church, God had blessed us, you know, from humble beginning. We started our ministry under a mango tree. Yeah, it's not an analogy. Like, we literally started under a mango tree. Like, the mango tree was outside. We didn't have a building. And people would just gather and have a group of prayer, and would come and spoke under the tree. How it started. I remember because I was really small. I think I was 2-3 years old at the time. You know, but we kept going. We believed in the vision that God had given us. As we kept chugging away to it, the church grew. You know, but the highest when we're still in Congo, I mean, we had about close to between 3 to 6 to 10,000 members, right? So a big church. Size-wise, we started having a lot of affluence there. The reason why I'm telling you a story is because, you know, God had blessed us, you know, my parents in many ways that, you know, they became affluent, you know, definitely upper class, you know, I mean, this is not to brag, and I'm not trying to impress you guys, but I want to press upon you my point. You know, I used to go to a private school. I used to have a driver. We used to have a butler. We used to have maids. We used to have guard dogs. We used to have, you know, all these different things to take care of the house, you know, multiple cars. I mean, it was like I think we had a 7-room type mansion with like multiple bathrooms. This is back when we were still in the Congo. The reason why I'm telling you this is because even though with having all that, my dad was preaching so much. Dad was traveling all the time. He was going to different places. I mean, Dad would go to the UK, come to America, preach to this church, to that church. To the point where my dad was preaching so much outside of our current church that my mother became almost like the senior pastor of the main church. And our church grew to the point where it started having a lot of other churches who were birthed out of our church. Right, so the restoration ministry now grew from there. Now we have churches kind of like all over the world. But the reason why I'm telling you that story is I was a pastor's kid. I was home, but I didn't really see my pops like that. I didn't really see my dad because all we knew was church. It was a good thing, but it was work. It was all like trying to do work. The problem was the first ministry God called you is to your family, though. What's the point of you trying to make sure other people's family are good when your children don't know you? Well, your son and your daughter might be like, listen, dad and mom, they're never home. What's the point? When your children don't see love being displayed at home. See, that's another problem. It's not even the fact that you got to love your children. Sometimes your children just need to see how you love a mom. How does mom and dad love each other? Why? Because that teaches something. You learn more by watching and seeing what other people do than you trying to learn or hear what other people tell you. Right? That was super important. So in that time when I'm navigating this, struggling with the fact that the parents are not going through there, a lot of things happen. Long story short, we came to America and the dynamic changed because now being in America, I had more time to really spend with my parents, being one-on-one, seeing the dynamic between the two of them, which kind of changed a lot of the vibe that was there, and me being able to see that really kind of let me understand, like, my parents loved me, but it was a different way, a different dimension for me to be able to see and experience that. And that completely changed my life. So reason why I'm saying to you, if you're a parent and you're watching this, be very conscious of the fact that I respect you. Go get the grind. Don't be lazy, right? Do what you do. Do what you have to do to put the food on the table for your children. But also be balanced enough to put love in their heart. If you're a child or if you're a young adult today and you talk and you think to yourself, you know what? Or if you're newlywed, you just got married, go ahead, get the grind, do what you got to do. But also keep in mind, right? Keep in mind that more importantly, the biggest thing I'm going to leave is not what I'm going to leave for my children, but what I'm going to leave in my children. The greatest legacy that you can do as an individual is not what you're going to live for your children and what you're going to live in your children. Because during Christmas is coming up. The most amazing part about the Christmas gift is not what's under the tree, but what's around the tree. Who's around the tree? Those are the people who make it worth the celebration. Those are the people who make it worth that time. So, man, that was all for today. I definitely want to just make sure that I show you guys some love and really address this issue because I think it's super important. And again, thank you to all of you guys who are watching this. If you have any questions, I think tomorrow I'm going to do a Q&A. So I'm going to do a question and answer tomorrow. I'm going to have definitely more time. I'm going to be here. If you have any questions, you're going to be right in the comments section. If you want to send me a question before you want to send it anonymously, just send it to me, inbox me. I'll be able to see your question. I'll be able to address it in tomorrow's Facebook Live. And by the way, for those of you guys, when you think is the best time, should I still do it at night or during the day? The reason why I do them during the day as well is because I'm trying to accommodate people who are watching different parts of the world. Because, when somebody's watching this from like Belgium, for example, it's like, what time is it right now? It is, drum roll, 9:31 Eastern Standard Time. So that means it's like 3 something in the morning in Europe, right? So just to be nice to them, sometimes I do some during the day, depending on the free time, my work schedule and all that. So that being said, let me know when is the best time to do so. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section. I'll be able to address. Again, tomorrow we're going to do a Q&A session. I have another doozy that I want to talk about tomorrow. But after we talk about the topic, I definitely want to be addressing any questions you might have. It may be completely unrelated to the topic, or it could be based on this topic. You may chew on some stuff. You might say, okay, Salem, like, what some of the practical steps can I do, right? I'm going to give you guys some ideas of some questions. There's no dumb question. Any question is fair game. If I don't know the answer, I'll try my best to steer you towards where you can get the answer. I'm not the most knowledgeable guy on this. I'm not your guru on relationship. It's just a topic that I found a lot of ease talking about. I've spent a lot of time talking to people, questioning and asking a lot of couples. I think I'm approaching close to 50 to 100 hours of interviews with couples, right, on this topic. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can to be able to help as many people as possible. But man, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for caring, right? Sometimes I feel like, man, I'm just talking to myself. And it's really helping myself, especially this one was very I had a lot of introspective moments where I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, I believe in grinding, man. I believe in doing the work. Do what you got to do. Sometimes you have to just put blinders on and work. But, at the end of the day, if I have a child, if I have someone who's looking up to me, if I have a mentee, not even a child, I want to make sure that person knows that I love them more than I love the money that I'm trying to get to express a level of love to them. You know what I mean? Because you love them, you want to provide for them. That's why you do the work. So I'm not trying to come down on many of the parents. I understand. Listen, I understand. It's because you love your child that you go to work to make sure you provide for them, that you're not a lazy parent. But I understand also it's more important that, whatever you leave inside of them is going to speak more than whatever money you can try to put on the table for those children. But listen, that's all for me today. Love you guys, man. Listen, share this video. More importantly, if it's touched you to some degree, I think it can touch somebody also within your circle. So if you guys can do me a favor, I would love for you to share these videos so others can also see, and we can kind of go from there. So remember, tomorrow we're going to do a Q&A session after the Facebook Live, so you definitely want to be part of that. If you have a question, you're not sure what time the Facebook Live is going to be, I don't know either. If you have a question, you can send me in the comment right now, or you can inbox me the question. I'll be able to address it. If you want me to ask a question anonymously, also mention that and I'll do so. But man, I love seeing all of you guys. It's a pleasure. People from Canada who are tuning in, Pacom, my brother, God bless you, all the way from Canada. It's a pleasure to really kind of seeing everybody and what God has in store. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Go out there. Remember, you're God's very best. God has something special for you. And may your children be blessed and your future children be blessed. Peace, guys.